So in the previous class, we had studied about the ocean currents of the Atlantic Ocean. Today we'll study about the ocean currents of the Pacific Ocean and the effects of various ocean currents. So, due to the extensive size and openness of the Pacific Ocean, there is a modification in the pattern of circulation of currents. There is no obstructing landmass, so the volume of water is very much greater, and so the northeast trade winds blow the north equatorial current towards Philippines, Taiwan, China Sea as the Kuroshio Current. So today we'll be studying about two ocean currents which are mentioned in your syllabus, the Kuroshio Current and which is a warm current, and the Oyashio current. Now if you see this map, you will understand the pattern of the Kuroshio current. It is a strong western boundary current in the western North Pacific Ocean. It begins off the east coast of Taiwan, as you can see in the map, and flows northeastward past Japan, where it merges with the easterly drift of the North Pacific Current. So in this map over here, you can see it merges with the North Pacific Current. So just as the Gulf Stream is a warm ocean current which transports warm water in the Atlantic Ocean, this current is also a warm ocean current that transports warm water. It is also sometimes known as the Black Stream because of its deep blue color, and also as the Japan Current. Its counterparts are the North Pacific Current to the north, the California Current to the east, and the North Equatorial Current to the south. So this is the circulation pattern of the Kuroshio current, and if you remember, we had studied that the warm ocean currents travel from the lower latitudes which have higher temperature towards the higher latitudes which have lower temperature. So they carry warm water. So here also you can see that the Kuroshio current carries warm water towards the high latitude regions. So since the Kuroshio current carries warm water, it helps to sustain the coral reefs of Japan, which are the northernmost coral reefs in the world. Why? Because it carries a lot of warm water, which helps to sustain the coral reefs. The branch into the Sea of Japan is called the Tsushima current. Another important thing about Kuroshio current is that because of the meeting of the warm Kuroshio current and the cold Oyashio current off the coast of Japan, it causes fog and the deposition of plankton. Plankton is actually the food for fish, giving rise to a great fishing ground, and Japan is famous for its fisheries. The next ocean current is the Oyashio current. So here in this map you can see the Oyashio current is coming from the Arctic region. So it is a cold subarctic ocean current that flows southwards and circulates counterclockwise in the western North Pacific Ocean. It collides or meets the Kuroshio current off the eastern shore of Japan to form the North Pacific Current. The water of Oyashio current originates in the Arctic Ocean, as you can see in the map. So obviously it carries cold water and flows southward via the Bering Sea. The current has an important impact on the climate of Russian Far East, mainly in Kamchatka Peninsula and Chukotka. The water of the Oyashio current form probably the richest fishing ground in the world because of its extremely high nutrient content of the cold water and very high tides in some areas, which further improves or increases the availability of nutrients. It also causes Vladivostok to be the most equatorward port to seasonally freeze and require ice-breaking ships to remain open in winter. So because it is a cold current, it carries cold water along with it, which causes freezing of the port. However, this has relatively little effect on the fish yields though through the Sea of Okhotsk, because the large tides mean freezing does not occur so easily. Now we will be studying about the effects of the ocean currents. I will be explaining the effects of ocean currents under these following in headings. First is the effect on climate, how it influences temperature, rainfall, causes fog, results in violent storms. Then effect on marine organisms, and finally the effect on commerce. So we'll study about these effects in detail. Okay, so we'll study about the effects of ocean current. First, the effect on climate. So the climate of the coastal areas becomes warm or cool according to the current washing the coast, which may be warm or cool. So first we'll study about the temperature. Warm or cold ocean currents flowing near a coast exert a significant climatic influence. The warm equatorial currents tend to raise the temperature of the place where they blow. So because they carry warm water with them, so obviously when the wind blows over the ocean current, it carries the warmth and it increases the temperature of the coastal areas where they blow. So the warm equatorial currents increase the temperature of the places where they blow. The cold ocean currents, on the other hand, because they carry because they carry cold water along with them, so they reduce the temperature of the coastal areas. The Labrador coast remains frozen for 9 months because of the influence of the cold Arctic current, while the British Isles enjoy a mild climate because of the influence of the North Atlantic drift. Peru otherwise has a very hot climate, but it is cooled by the cold Peruvian current. On account of the influence of the North Atlantic drift, which carries warm water along with it, the harbors of Norway, even beyond the North Cape, are free from ice throughout the year. While Greenland, which is in the same latitude, it is icebound throughout the year. So this is the effect of the ocean currents, how they influence the temperature. Now the ocean currents also have a great impact on rainfall. So when the air above the warm ocean current blows, it picks up moisture, all right, and it becomes warm. So when the air becomes warm, it expands. So its capacity to absorb moisture also increases. Now warm ocean currents, because they have higher temperature, so obviously the rate of evaporation also increases. Therefore the air which blows over the warm ocean current carries more moisture. So wherever the coastal areas are washed by the warm ocean currents, those areas receive high rainfall. For example, the North Atlantic drift, the Kuroshio current, they are responsible for causing good amount of rainfall. The North Atlantic drift causes good amount of rainfall in the western coast of Europe, and the Kuroshio current gives good rainfall to the eastern coast of Japan, respectively. On the other hand, children, if you see the location of many of the hot deserts of the world, you will see that the shores are washed by the cold ocean currents. So, the cold ocean currents have lower temperature. Obviously, the rate of evaporation will be less. The air above it will also hold less moisture. So, the cold ocean currents discourage rainfall. So, in this map, if you see, in South Africa, the Namib Desert, its shores are washed by the cold Benguela current. Similarly, the Atacama Desert in South America is also partly because of it owes its extent to some it owes its existence to some extent to the cold Peru current. So children, the Kalahari Desert is mainly because of the partly because of the cold Benguela current, and the Atacama Desert is because of the cold Peru current, which is also referred to as the Humboldt current. So the cold ocean currents discourage rainfall and results in aridity or dryness in an area. Another impact of ocean currents is that whenever warm and cold ocean currents meet, they result in the creation of fog. So obviously, as I told you, the warm ocean current has warm water. Obviously, the air above it has lot of water vapor. Alright, the cold ocean current has lower temperature. So when the warm and the cold ocean currents, when they collide and they meet, then because of the meeting of the warm and the cold air, the water vapor of the warm air gets condensed to form fog. So the Japanese coast has dense fog because of the meeting of the warm Kuroshio current and the cold Oyashio current. Similarly, Newfoundland also has dense fog because of the meeting of the warm Gulf Stream and the cold Labrador current. So I have highlighted this in the slide. As you can see, you must learn which current, the effects of these ocean currents specifically. Violent storms, the next effect of ocean current on the climate. Whenever warm and cold ocean currents meet, they result in violent storms. The hurricanes which occur off the coast of United States often follow the line where the Gulf Stream mixes up with the cold Labrador current. The next effect is the effect of ocean currents on marine organisms. The mixing of cold and warm ocean currents causes plankton, which is fish for food, to be found in abundance. Alright, so obviously wherever there are planktons, the number of fish will also be more. The fish feed on planktons. The ocean currents move organic material off the coast, which is the food of planktons. The more the planktons, the higher the concentration of fish. So some of the famous fishing grounds of the world are the Grand Banks, where the warm Gulf Stream and the cold Labrador current meet. Then in Japan also we have rich fishing grounds because of the meeting of the warm Kuroshio current and the cold Oyashio current. The effect on commerce. So the ocean currents, especially in the higher latitudes, greatly influence the working of the ports also. So there are certain ports and harbors which, even though they are located at very high latitude, yet they remain open throughout the year because of the influence of the warm ocean current. For example, the coast of UK, Norway, they are located at higher latitude. They should normally freeze during the winter, but due to warm ocean currents, they remain unfrozen and trade remains unaffected. In fact, the warm Gulf Stream affects such a place as Spitsbergen, which is situated deep in the north. Montreal at the mouth of St. Lawrence River remains open for the whole of the year, but Vladivostok is snowbound because of the cold ocean current. So, Norway is a high latitude country. There is a port, Virgin. It remains open throughout the year because of the influence of the warm North Atlantic drift. The next effect is that ships can sail faster if they follow the direction of the current, and the opposite direction reduces the speed. Then danger to ships is caused by icebergs that flow in ocean currents during the springtime when uh, when melting takes place. So The icebergs travel with the ocean currents and they greatly affect the shipping lanes. So, due to the fog, the ships are not able to locate them. For example, the dense fog caused by the meeting of the cold and the warm currents can be dangerous to ships. As it happened, the Titanic struck an iceberg due to the poor visibility created by the fog due to the mixing of the cold Labrador Current and the warm Gulf Stream. So many ships have sunk because of colliding with these icebergs. However, children, as technology has improved in the recent times, so there are radars which help the ships to locate icebergs even in the darkness of the dense fog. So these are the effects of the ocean currents.